Today's the day that you can make the day to make that change towards embracing your greatness. And it's a matter of being consistent with the habits and disciplines that serve you, that in turn will serve others as they observe your success.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good morning, Christopher Salem. Ooh, how are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful morning?
Doing great this morning. I'm always up every morning at 4:15.
Well, that's wonderful. Yeah, the early bird catches or gets to choose the worm, the feed they want, right? You agree with that?
I totally agree with that.
Well, I am up as well and having fun. Done a ton this morning, but I was so expecting this conversation, seeing all that you've done. But you tell me, which of your talents do you believe is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history?
Well, it's just the ability to connect with people. I enjoy meeting new people, and obviously we were connected through Teresa. And I just love meeting new people and learning more about their backgrounds and the gifts that they bring to the world, and always looking to form interdependent relationships. Those are the areas that I bring a lot of talent and can really align with people who are doing the same.
Yeah, and you do a ton of things, right? Like I got into your bio and it took a while. I had to walk away, take a break, come back, and digest all of it. But who did you learn this ability to go after things and be successful at it, be consistent with it? Who did you learn that from?
Well, I mean, I've had a lot of mentors in my life. I've always loved Jack Canfield. And, the key to anything success in life is not only the habits and disciplines that you do that serve you, not only build your success foundation, but actually sustain it and actually succeed. But it's really the consistency with it. So it's got to be consistent. It's not once in a while. It's an everyday thing.
Now, keeping in mind that sometimes there are things in our earlier part of our lives that do not teach us how to do these things. And as a result, it helps us. Would you say in the earlier ages of your life, that's something you can identify with, where that was taught or it wasn't taught, and as a result, you learned it?
Well, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I'm a firm believer. I wrote an international best-selling book in the area of overcoming limited beliefs, and called Master Your Inner Critic, Resolve the Root Cause, Create Prosperity. So I'm a firm believer that anything that's worth striving for in your life, whether it's building quality relationships, being a great parent, being a leader in your community, being a leader in your business, whatever the case may be, it requires that you have the ability to truly believe in yourself. And this was something that I did not have growing up throughout my 20s, that I had to go through this process to determine what was the root cause behind my limited beliefs that was holding me back, that made me believe that I wasn't worthy of certain things and I wasn't capable of achieving things or being the person I wanted to be.
Now that you've been on the two sides of the coin, why will you continue to repeat what's necessary to be successful with the things you desire?
Well, it's my moral duty to be the example for other people. You can't tell people how, when, or why to do something. That will never work. But you can be the example to empower them by observing you and what you do, the things that are serving you, because that way they can find it within themselves to do the same for them, whatever that means to them.
Love that. Now, for those that are listening, where's the best place for them to connect with you, or even the starting insight of who you are, be it a book or a website?
The best place to reach me would be at my website at www.christopher, CHRISTOPHER, Salem, SALEM.com, one word. And I also have a nonprofit that also addresses limited beliefs, but more from the family standpoint, called Empowered Fathers in Action, and that is EFAmovement.org.
All right. And tell me one other thing that you've done consistently, and this can be for fun, right, over the last 3 years.
Well, one of the things that I've done consistently other than work has been always present and involved in my son's life. I'm involved heavily in his sports. And I'm always there, helping him to be the example that so he can be a leader, not only on his team, but also with his family and then also within the school as well.
How does that make you feel?
It makes me feel great. It's a great feeling. It's better than telling them how, when, or why to do it.
Yeah, comes full circle, right? You're walking the talk, right?
Exactly.
Suggest to someone that's listening why they should do that. Invest in relationships, specifically the father-son relationship.
Well, like I said, when you have the ability to invest, especially that your most important job ever will be a parent. And again, your children, when they grow up, are going to be, a product of what they observed growing up. So it's great to be mindful that, our behaviors serving or not serving. And if they're not, it's okay. We're only human. You only know what you know. But if we can be aware that there's certain things that we can change by overcoming limited beliefs, we have the power and the ability to be a better influence for our children as they grow up.
Amazing audience. Again, you're hearing it live from Christopher Salem. You can connect with Chris at christophersalem.com, or you can check out efamovement.org. Chris, let's switch gears for a moment now. Let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Christopher, what's your earliest childhood memory?
My earliest childhood memory would be God, I could just remember, I guess, I don't know how old I was, probably like even 2 years old. And I can just remember, when I lived in Florida, just always like watching the sunshine, as it rose above the water. I grew up in the Tampa area at the time before I moved to the New York area. And it was I would say about 2 years old. I could still remember just the awe of watching that sun rise here at the Gulf. And it was just incredible. And it's just something that every day it just reminds me how grateful and humble that I am to be alive, to be on this earth, and blessed to share my experiences and my, process with other people to do the same for themselves, whatever that means to them.
Yes, I mean, that's fascinating, right? That to this day, you're an early riser, right? And the benefits that come with that. That's intriguing. Since 2 years old. I mean, I'm guessing you didn't do it consistently all the while, but wow.
Oh, I was inconsistent for a long time up until I was 30. But that childhood memory was something that I had forgotten, but that came back to me once I was, past the problem and into the solution. So it's amazing how things that have happened earlier, you begin to remember when you are now operating in the flow.
Yes, love that. All right. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
When I was 12 years old?
Yeah.
That's a good question. So let me do my math. So that would have been 1979. Oh my God. There was probably a lot of songs back then. 1979. I would say, I don't know, I was a big Kiss fan back, I guess, when I was a little kid. So, I mean, I like classic rock and hard rock music. So at that time, 1979, it was maybe a couple years after, but I love the Love Gun by Kiss. So that was the music I was into back in 1979. So I was 12 years old then.
There we go. All right. Well, we've arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready?
Yes.
Chris, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yes.
Are you married?
Yes.
Do you have children?
Yes.
So that's other than your son, right? You have one son?
Just one son.
Okay, all right. Do you believe in God?
I do believe in God.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
Depends on the week. If it's football season, yeah.
What about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
I would say it all depends, but sometimes it can be if I'm coaching people on Zoom, if that counts. So I would say yes.
All right. And what about your reading? How often do you read?
I read every day.
Chris, if you had to share with us your own unique real statement, a statement that represents who you are, Christopher Salem, what would you say that is?
Give without expectation, receive without resistance.
Love it. Chris, this has been such a great pleasure. Before we leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I would just say that, each and every day is a blessing, and it's just to be aware of where you are. It's okay, but to know that if you're not where you want to be, that today's the day that you can make the day to make that change towards embracing your greatness. It's just one day at a time, and it's a matter of being consistent with the habits and disciplines that serve you, that in turn will serve others as they observe your success.
Love it, love it, love it. Again, amazing audience, Christopher Salem. Chris, again, thank you for being on what is inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.